Okay, so we're going to talk about how to get this Midi drum kit separated into a kick, snare, hi-hat, and any other Midi you need. So the first thing I'll do is select the kit track, and then I will press Command D, and it will create a duplicate. Then I will do that for however many instruments I have on this kit. In this case, I just have kick, snare, and hi-hat, so that's good enough. I'll highlight the track again, press Command C, and then select the other tracks and paste them or Command V them onto the other tracks. Then I'm going to highlight one of the loops and hit E, the E key. That's going to open up my editor. And you can see I can select the piano roll of each of those instruments. So all I did was I selected hi-hat and deleted it, and then delete the element that I'm not going to use on that track. The last one I want to be my hi-hat, so I click on the snare and kick on the piano roll and delete those MIDI notes. And now it's all separated out. I still have one master track just in case I need it, but my kick, snare, and hi-hat are all separated into their own individual tracks. I would recommend that you then go through and rename them appropriately. Your future self will thank you. Now we can move on to how to turn these into audio files themselves. Okay, so let's say you like the kit and how it's sounding, and you want to turn all of those MIDI files into audio files. All you have to do is highlight the track, right-click on the actual loop, and then hit Bounce in Place. I do want to take a quick second to go over the Bounce Regions in Place screen. Obviously give it a name, but the source you can either leave, which will leave the track on, and you'll hear both the source and your bounced version. You can mute it, which will leave it there, but just put it on mute. Or you can delete it entirely. I usually just leave it on mute. The bypass effect plugins will turn off all of the plugins that are on your MIDI channel. So that would leave your super sculpted kick drum with all its great plugins off. The include audio tail in file is going to add on a few more bits of silence at the end, or if your track has reverb on it, it's going to go until the reverb dies out and add a little bit more time on the end of the track. I usually don't include audio tail when I'm doing this. You may or may not want to include volume or pan automation if you've automated your MIDI track, but that is up to you. I've had instances where I needed to include the volume and pan automation, and sometimes I don't. It just depends on what I've done with the track so far. That said, the last thing to talk about is normalization. I like to leave normalization off because to my ears, Apple's algorithm levels out the track in a way that then doesn't authentically replicate the sound of the kick drum or whatever my MIDI file is. So I recommend leaving normalization off so we get the same sound just in an audio file format instead of a MIDI file format. And after you've bounced all of those in place, you see we have a kick, snare, and hi-hat audio file and kick, snare, and hi-hat MIDI file. I'll go back through and rename these so I know which is which. And then if I need to send this off to someone else to mix, or my producer or whoever else, I can send them just the audio files or the MIDI files or all of the above. If you are sending it off to me to mix, I will take just the audio files. That's my preference. But that's how I do it. Hope this was helpful or insightful, or maybe we just wasted 4.5 minutes of your life. Either way, hope you have a good day.